Brakati Awa, Brakati Awa Shai, 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 Call Halayim Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash, double honor to the apostles and elders which are a great millstone. Peace and blessing to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity, and those who putting up videos throughout the week, feeding the sheep. This is Makwa from the Trump and the VA camp, and it says, Beto, if you don't hand over your AR-15, we'll take it.
The epidemic of gun violence in this country. We're less than 100 miles from Dayton, Ohio, where 2 months ago, a gunman killed 9 people using an AR-15 style weapon with a high-capacity magazine. Congressman O'Rourke, in the last debate, you said, quote, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. But when you were asked how you'd enforce a mandatory buyback, you said police wouldn't be going door to door. So how exactly are you going to force people to give up their weapons?
So mandatory buyback is when now they sometimes they have buybacks where you can by your own free will come in, give your gun up, and they'll give you money for it. But they're going to try to implement a mandatory buyback. Now this is also going into the martial law, okay? And because they need to stop people, they need to make this when they come in as a flood, they want to have as less resistance as possible. Matter of fact. Matthews 12 and 29, it says, or else how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods? Except he first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. So this is why they want to take away the guns from people. So when they come in as a flood, like I just said, there'll be less resistance. Now they understand it's going to be certain people who are not going to give up the guns. They already know that. They're not stupid. But they know there are people out there. They know the majority of the people will give up their guns. So these are the people who are they're going to be they're going to really be gunning for. And if they can get more of the other people, they're going to get that as well. But they want to get all the guns. They want to get all the guns that they can off before they come in. So like I said, there'll be less resistance.
The epidemic of gun violence in this country. We're less than 100 miles from Dayton, Ohio, where 2 months ago, a gunman killed 9 people using an AR-15 style weapon with a high-capacity magazine. Congressman O'Rourke, in the last debate, you said, quote, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. But when you were asked how you'd enforce a mandatory buyback, you said police wouldn't be going door to door. So how exactly are you going to force people to give up their weapons, you don't even know who has those weapons.
Look, we're going to make sure that the priority is saving the lives of our fellow Americans. I think almost everyone on this stage agrees that it's not right, and as president would seek to ban the sale of AR-15s and AK-47s. Those are weapons of war. They were designed to kill people effectively, efficiently on a battlefield. You mentioned the massacre.
Now we know this damn devil, more than likely, he was behind those attacks anyway, because what the devil likes to do is start random shit so that they can enforce certain laws. Now when you look at what was the movie, The First Purge, they basically had the government running through different neighborhoods. Well, this specifically was Staten Island. They had the government was sending in agents and mercenaries trying to basically they was going in killing people. Now they was getting resistance from the Jakes. Now you had a gangbanger in a movie, a former military guy. He was they was able to get their hands on some automatic weapons, and they obviously showed you in the movie what happened. They was killing a lot of the military guys. Now, obviously, like I said, they don't want things like that to happen. So what they're going to do is do things like this. They're going to stage attacks so they can take away certain guns.
In Dayton, 9 people.
Because like he just said, these guns were designed for war. Okay, so they don't want people with their hands on it when they come for martial law. Okay.
People killed in under 40 seconds. In El Paso, Texas, 22 were killed in under 3 minutes. And the list goes on throughout the country. So if the logic begins with those weapons being too dangerous to sell, then it must continue by acknowledging with 16 million AR-15s and AK-47s out there, they're also too dangerous to own. Every single one of them is a potential instrument of terror. Just ask Hispanics in Texas. Univision surveyed them. More than 80% feared that they would be a victim of a mass.
I just thought about something, right? Now we got Trump, these so-called Trump supporters. Well, I think they are Trump supporters, so-called, I guess. I don't know. But they're put in, like he just said, just ask the Hispanics that were targeted. So look what he's trying to do here. He's trying to get they're trying to get the Hispanics, the northern tribe, afraid so they can vote against these laws. And I believe, I could be mistaken, I believe the southern tribe were targeted in one of these attacks as well. I think maybe at a church or something like that. But in doing that, they're trying to get, matter of fact, in doing that, they're trying to get the southern tribe to go vote so that they can ban these guns and stuff. But this is obviously a ploy, because Jakes make up the majority of the voting, so they can get them geared towards away from not wanting gun violence, to stop these racial Trump supporters, or whatever kind of angle they spin it. They're going to try to get away from these guns. However they try to spin it, they want the support of the Israelites, because they make up the majority of the population. And this is why they're playing on our people right now. Okay?
Terror attack like the one in El Paso that was targeted at Mexican Americans and immigrants, inspired in part by this president's racism and hatred that he's directed at communities like mine in El Paso. So I expect my fellow Americans to follow the law, the same way that we enforce any provision, any law that we have right now. We don't go door to door to do anything in this country to enforce the law. I expect Republicans, Democrats, gun owners, non-gun owners alike
Congressman,
to
let me
respect
follow
and follow the law.
Just to follow up, your expectations aside, your website says you will find people who don't give up their weapons. that doesn't take those weapons off the street. So to be clear, exactly how are you going to take away weapons from people who do not want to give them up and you don't know where they are?
If someone does not turn in an AR-15 or an AK-47, one of these weapons of war, or brings it out in public and brandishes it in an attempt to intimidate, as we saw when we were at Kent State recently, then that weapon will be taken from them. If they persist, there will be other consequences from law enforcement. But the expectation is that Americans will follow the law. I believe in this country. I believe in my fellow Americans. I believe that they will do the right thing.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor Buttigieg.
But with that, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakal, Kadash, double honor to the apostles and elders, which are a great millstone. Peace and blessings to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth and sincerity, and diligently putting up videos throughout the week, feeding the sheep. Adawam Ratazah, Thumb, Yakal, Shalom.